You hear a lot of people in spiritual communities using the word space, creating space for what you want, holding space for someone, giving yourself or someone else space. But what does any of that actually mean? In this video, I'll address the meaning of space in spiritual terms, how to create space and hold space for someone, why and how we unknowingly enter other people's space, and the importance of learning how to maintain your own inner space. But before I do, if at any point you find that this video is helpful, then please like and subscribe so this message can reach more people who might also benefit from watching. Space in spiritual terms. Everything is energy, and space is no different. Space in the spiritual context is the energy akin to a state of allowing. When you give yourself space, you are allowing yourself to be, accepting yourself exactly as you are, without judgment, and simply put, without needing anything about you to be different. For example, if I was feeling really upset about the death of a close friend, not giving myself space would mean that I would find a way to invalidate myself about the grief I was feeling by telling myself I shouldn't feel this way, or maybe that I wasn't a good friend. Giving myself space would mean that I would allow myself to feel what I'm feeling so fully that it passes through me, and I eventually process it. It's being able to have compassion with ourselves. Compassion means no matter what I'm feeling or going through, I choose to love myself anyway. I choose to be gentle with myself and give myself the space to be exactly where I am. When I do this, I give space to energy that is trapped inside of me. Allowing the energy to expand by bringing your awareness to it makes the energy less dense and able to move through you. As counterintuitive as it may seem to allow a negative energy or emotion to expand inside of us, when we don't face what we're feeling, that energy gets trapped and stagnates and remains dense. This is not to be confused with projecting this energy onto others. What I'm talking about has to do with sitting and feeling on your own, and then eventually releasing the energy as it becomes less dense. Holding space for someone. When you are allowing someone else to process whatever they are going through without judgment, without needing to fix them or heal them or change them in any way, then you are holding space for someone. It would be like a friend telling you that they just lost their job. You could respond to this news in many ways, but if you were to hold space for them, you would simply listen fully and not feel bad for them or tell them how they can find another job or that they don't need to worry because they're so capable. Holding space is the understanding that they are exactly where they need to be, and you wholeheartedly love them and give them the total freedom to experience what they are going through. Essentially, space is the gift of your pure presence, which allows them the opportunity to feel safe, seen, heard, accepted, and ultimately loved. The state of being. Presence by nature is not judgmental. It simply is. Thinking, or the ego mind, is what judges. It creates the narrative, story, and meaning behind everything. The ego mind feels the need to label everything so as to solidify its belief in separation. When you are in a state of pure being, there is just the experience of witnessing. Witnessing is not perception. Our perception is flawed because we are seeing everything through the filters that were created because of our social conditioning. Witnessing, on the other hand, is removed from seeing things only as form. It acknowledges the truth inherent in all life, which is pure consciousness. It sees past the form and recognizes everything as spirit. I love when Osho said, even when you are making love with your partner, you can both be the witness. There should be 4 of you in bed together. Entering other people's space. A close friend of mine was having a hard time in her relationship with her husband recently. And when I was talking with her, at one point she said, I just need my space from him. I need to get away for a while. And as valid as her feelings were in that moment, what she was really wanting was for him to give her space. Of course, I don't mean physical space away from him. I mean that she was wanting to be able to be herself around him without him invalidating her. She wanted to feel seen, heard, and loved by him. But instead, she felt unsafe, bullied, and defeated. In her situation, it would help her most if she gave herself the internal space to simply allow herself to be. This would mean that she would stop fighting against what was happening in her relationship and learn to witness her feelings as expanding fully and then getting lighter so she can release them. And just as importantly, she could practice giving her partner space to be. Without having to defend himself, he can then begin to reflect and understand what needs to happen next. Talking with your partner is critical, but giving yourself and your partner space when either of you has been triggered is key, so hurtful things aren't said and resentment doesn't build. When we've calmed down a bit, we can voice our boundaries, our wants, our needs, without blame, guilt, or criticism. That way you immediately become soft and vulnerable. And this is a good thing. You've taken your power back because you're not playing the victim. And the other person senses this and stops the need to defend themselves from your projection and attack. How to create space. Creating space happens when you use your awareness and your certainty to decide what you want to embody. This is the part that trips most people up. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, Margot, I get what you're saying, but how do I actually do it? We've learned that when things are difficult, that you need to work hard if you want to get anywhere in life. But when you are working with awareness, because you're not dealing with anything physical, everything is effortless. So it's simply a matter of your choosing where you are going to place your awareness. Your awareness is how you experience reality. Your awareness also is your reality. Therefore, there is nothing you experience that is outside of you, because that would indicate that something outside of you is experiencing your life. And you are life, and life is you. Maintaining your inner space. The work I do with clients is all about discovering, uncovering, and shifting their inner space by understanding the aspects of themselves that they've closed off to the world as a survival mechanism. When you bring awareness to the aspects of you that are deeply hidden in your subconscious, you begin the process of starting to realize who you are. When you learn how to create the space to have who you are more fully, the negative programs that don't serve you begin to fall away. If you have questions about this process, or you'd like to explore this with my guidance, you can email me at the address I've provided in the description below. I encourage you to play around with creating space for yourself and others on a regular basis. You can decide to make your inner space your sanctuary. I love you all so much. Until next time, remember to let go. Let go of trying to be anything other than the truth of what you are.